Everyone to tea time. It is my favorite tea time of the week. Every Tuesday, 4 o'clock Eastern time. We are ready for the Tour Championship. Man, I can't believe it's the end of this season, kind of, I guess. Joining me is Dave Cokin. We are waiting on Nick to show up. But Dave, I guess let's just do a little recap of last week. The putts heard around the world. I like big putts, and I cannot lie. I thought DJ's was impressive, and Rom said, "Hold my beer." Were you watching live when this happened?
Oh yeah.
What were your thoughts?
Just incredible. I thought going back to the tournament that Morikawa beat Justin Thomas. It's like, wow, those two putts that they made were amazing. Before Morikawa eventually won the playoff, and it's like it got blown away with the two putts that Dustin Johnson and John Rahm made, and then Rahm with, and justice prevailing because Rahm got that silly one-stroke penalty when he didn't mark his ball. So I'm glad he won because that would have been a horrible way to lose the tournament. And Rambo was fantastic. Now he has to avoid the bounce that he kind of had off his last win, where he did not play well at all in the subsequent tournament. And meanwhile, Dustin Johnson at this point, I mean, the odds on him are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he's tough to argue against.
Yeah. Well, I was watching live, and I have a couple confessions to make. The first confession is when DJ first hit his putt, I thought, are you serious, DJ? You left that thing way to the right and way short. How could you hit a putt that bad? Are you serious? The season comes that, wait, that looks good. That's got a chance. And then it goes in. And I was like, that's why I'm the one here at home watching. And then the other confession, I'll be open. When they hit their drives in overtime, Rahm puts it in the rough with a horrible angle, and DJ's in the fairway. And I went and looked,
off a tree.
Yeah, it was off a tree. So he got that weird one-shot penalty, which I don't know if I've ever seen, at least not with a top-tier player like him. So he gets the off the tree in the rough. He's got a horrible angle. DJ's in the fairway, and I look, and DJ's minus 110 live wagering to win. So I put money on DJ to win.
Well, yeah, but he was a long way off because, I mean, he got away, but he had quite a distance to go in that second shot.
Yeah. And then they get up on the green, and Rahm has this impossible putt. I thought it was going to be impossible to two putt it, and he proved me wrong. So
It's amazing.
Yeah, good for him. I got to say, I believe Rahm is so emotional and so temperamental right now. I would be worried about him this week. Maybe he's in a groove. Maybe you're getting the high of last week continues over into this week, but I just worry about how emotional he gets. Are you gonna be on Rahm this week, or
No.
are you kind of staying away? Yeah.
No, I posted two outrights. They're just small plays. One is a guy who I'm going to just keep playing until he wins again, and that's Morikawa. And then I took a big long shot. So if you want to find out who that is, well, you have to be a subscriber because I'm not putting up an individual package. It's only going out to my all access guys, and they're just 2% plays to have some fun with. But
Yeah.
we'll have a lot of fun if one of them comes in. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, look, it's 30 of the better players in the world. Let's put it that way. And if you want the ultimate long shot, I guess it's Mark Leishman, who was 30 over this past weekend.
60 shot swing from DJ's winning score the week before to Mark Leishman's score. Yes, that would be the ultimate long shot.
He's not in very good form. So you never know. I mean, he could put it together this week, but
well, he's not really
toward the top of the board.
Yeah, I only have one play, and I got to say it's a head-to-head, and I absolutely love it. Like, it's legit one of my favorite plays of the year. I'm only making one play. That's it. I'm not getting too cute. I'm taking one shot, just one shot. I kind of sound like Ronnie in the first season of Jersey Shore. Just one shot, kid. If any
I've never seen that show, so
if any of you know that reference, congratulations. Talisman wants to know: does the break help or hurt Webb Simpson this week? This is an interesting discussion. Dave, did you look closely at why Webb took last week off?
And no, I just know he pulled out.
I think he looked at his There's Nick. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Borrman is joining us. Thanks for joining us.
I apologize,
We're talking
guys.
about
I'm
Webb
having some
Simpson.
major issues with I'm trying to get on the camera there. The internet right now. I might be.
You're fine, buddy.
Well,
yeah,
the one thing we should point out is
the web. I'm going to restart one more. I'm going to restart. Can you hear me?
You good? Yeah, we're live though.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, Dave, go ahead.
Well, I'm glad Nick's here because we both sucked at this last tournament and Nick had the winner.
Yep. Yeah. My opinion on Webb was I think he looked at where his position was and he knew the only way he was going to improve it is with an outright win, and maybe his game didn't fit well with it. As it turns out, I think maybe his game might have fit well because it was all about hitting the fairways. The guys that hit the fairways, he could have improved his position. But if I'm looking at where he's at, he's behind JT, he's behind DJ, he's behind Rom. I guess maybe he thinks if I sit this one out, I'm rested, I get the putter hot. That's the only way I'm going to catch these guys when I'm, 4 shots behind starting out. So I initially laughed at him when he withdrew, but then I look at the scoring now and I say, maybe it did help. Maybe it did. So
he's going to, there's 30 guys. So, obviously a third of the field is going to be in the top 10, but Simpson certainly looks like a guy who'll be in the top 10 here and in the mix on Sunday.
Absolutely.
What it comes down to right now is if Dustin Johnson stays as hot as he is, he's going to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless somebody goes nuts, he's going to win. But to me, there's very little point in betting him unless you're betting him all by himself. If you want to do that and take whatever it is, 6-1, but you basically should not make any other bet. Otherwise, you can't get any kind of return.
Yeah. And for all of you head-to-head matchups out there, please be careful this week when you're looking at the lines. When you're looking and you're seeing Rory McIlroy plus 500 against like Justin Thomas or John Rahm, that's not head-to-head on the matchup. That's where they finish at the end of the tournament. Right. So you're already 5 shots behind. You have to be careful and look at where these guys start. I know people are going to get burned. I know it's happened already. I've seen line movement, and if you log into your account, you just happen to see, why is this guy plus 500? He's really good. It's like, well, he's 6 shots behind the guy that he's matched up with. So, Nick, thanks for joining us. Congrats. You hit Rom. Rom hits the bomb, and that gives you the outright win. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, that was a wave of emotions. I thought I had it wrapped up, and then DJ hits the bomb, and I'm like, kicking the dog, and then Rom makes the bomb, and I'm giving the dog ice cream, and everything's okay again. So it was a good way to end that tournament. Couldn't be more happy. Rom, to me, is a guy. He's shown it now. He won the Memorial and he won here. 2 of the 2 most difficult golf courses they've played since the restart. So it's just going to show that he's a guy that when you're playing a difficult track like that and you got to be able to just get around at par, he's going to be there at the end. He's not a guy. Not to say he can't go low. Of course, the guy can go low, but he's going to be a guy that's going to last better. And this should be another course. East Lake is another course this week that is tough. And I don't think you guys talked about the 10th straight year last year. Rory became the 10th straight FedEx Cup champion. That was not in the lead going into the Tour Championship. So is that the curse for DJ this week? I know, Dave, you said he's playing well. He's probably going to be right there, of course. But just throwing it out there, maybe there's a curse against that top guy going in this week.
Yeah, real quick before we get into that, I just want to read for everyone that's watching here just the scores that everyone's going to start off with. That way we all have a baseline real quick. So Dustin Johnson's going to start off at -10. Rahman's going to start off at -8. Justin Thomas at -7. Webb Simpson at -6. Morikawa at -5. At -4, you have Berger, English, DeChambeau, M, and Matsuyama. -3 is Brendan Todd, Rory McIlroy, Reed, Schauffele, and Munoz. -2 is Lanto Griffin, Scheffler, Joaquin Niemann, Tyrell Hatton, and Finau. -1 is Kisner, Answer, Palmer, Na, and Leishman. And even as Cameron Smith, Hovland, Hughes, Champ, and Horschel. So again, look those scores up before you start making these bets. You got to know where these guys are finishing. Yeah, Nick, you jumped right on it. It's pretty amazing. But when you think about it, you're looking at these scores. A 2 or 3 shot swing is not that big of a deal.
No, it could happen in a hole. Birdie bogey.
Yes, absolutely.
First hole could be gone.
Yeah. So we're going to the hub of golf, when everyone thinks about the greatest golf cities in the world, Atlanta. As always, when that comes to mind, I still don't understand why we're playing in Atlanta. But Nick, we always go to you and have you talk about the course. So tell us a little about the course that they're going to be playing this week.
Well, you already hit on the scoring system. So the course this week, another par 70. Again, only 2 par 5. So par 4 scoring is big again. The rough, though, is back down to normal 2.5 inches. Last week we saw 4 inches. So while it's still important to be in play, there is a little bit more room to spray. The course is difficult. The greens are very fast, stimping around 13 they expect. So it's a course, again, that precision or placement, rather, on the greens is going to be important. But you can get away with a little bit more wayward tee shots. Not too far, of course, but I like East Lake as the Tour Championship course because if you look at it over the years, it's definitely not an easy course. They're not going low, but you can also score here if you play decently. You can shoot 66, 65. But Rory last year, he started at -5, 5 shots back, shot 13 under for the tournament, won by 4.
Crazy.
But just shows if you actually hit the ball well, yeah, you can score. Versus last week, I mean, nobody could score. It was just hang on. And I think that's, it's fun for us to watch every once in a while, but these guys don't want to play in conditions like that every single week. I think this is a little bit better of a test and a true golf course for them. So I think it's going to be good. I think par 4 scoring is good this week. I know you already talked about Webb. I like him. I think coming off that rest and him being as good as he is in the par 4s, I think he could be a good guy to play this week.
I really don't like how in the playoffs we have a tournament where someone can be -30 and then under par is a really good one. I'm in a lot of fantasy leagues, and those fantasy leagues were determined by the week where DJ went -30 because there's no ground to make up after it. And I know that the PGA could care less about fantasy leagues, but there's a lot of us out here that play in those, and a lot of our fantasy seasons depend on these. And I'm serious. I was in leagues where I didn't have DJ that week. Season over. You can't make up that ground on these next 2 tournaments. So from that aspect, it's a little frustrating, and I think it's a little weird that the one of the easiest courses that they play is in the playoffs. I don't know. My suggestion has always been I think they should do the playoffs in New York. They've got enough courses in there, and you do a 3 or 4 week playoff on those badass courses in New York. The media center is already set up there. The players could be there. It could be a 3 or 4 week big event with a lot of coverage. I think it'd be a lot of fun to play out there. You'd have the same greenskeepers and the same organizers getting all those courses ready. I don't know. My opinion, Nick, you can tell me I'm an idiot or not.
Well, what you want and where the money comes in from the courses and the sponsors that have had it where they have it are 2 different things, right? So it's hard to change those things over the course of time. New Jersey's got cut out this year, but they're used to having the other event because we always had an event at Liberty National. It was the Barclays. The Barclays used to be the other tournament I used to go to.
Okay.
So it's over the course of the years, people just be used to having that event there. East Lake, it's been the Tour Championship for how long? I feel like it's, golf's all about tradition, right? Nobody likes change, so it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to change no matter what we want.
Yeah. All right. Couple questions. Courtney wants to know about DraftKings this week. I got to tell you, I'm looking at DraftKings right now. I don't have any suggestions. You can't go with the high guys. I mean, Dustin Johnson is 15,200 on DraftKings. Mark Leishman is 5,000. I want nothing to do with it. I just go middle of the road and hope you get a couple of those guys to sneak up near the top. Richard wants to know, what are we betting on this week then? The Tour Championship or the 72 stroke play out ranks? Thank you, Dave. Yes, Dave, take this one.
Whatever you want.
I love how simple you can bet.
You can bet on to win the 72 holes or to win the cup.
Yeah. Let's see. Blaze wants to know, Webb Simpson or Daniel Berger? I got to say, I'm a Daniel Berger fan. I think the upside is in Webb this week. He's close enough to the top, and I could argue if he could have the hottest putter on the upside. Like when he gets that putter going, he might be the best on tour with it. So, Nick, I don't know what your thoughts of Simpson or Berger. I know we're fans of both.
Definitely like both. I think Simpson's going to have the better chance at the win, but he's 9-1. But Berger's at 28-1. Listen, Rory was -5 and won by 4 last year. Berger's at -6.
crazy.
He starts one shot closer. So, going below that number where we're talking about right now is probably inadvisable, but Berger's that cutoff where you could possibly make a play. You could also just look to take him, in a top 3 plus 600. That's not bad, 6-1, or a top 5. Not as great at plus 250, but if you like Berger and as well as he's been playing, it's basically you got 4 rounds to make up 4 shots. He can do that. So he's not a bad play, and 28-1 is not a bad shot. I wouldn't go much lower than him, though. I honestly don't think you're going to see anybody below 5 coming to win this thing. But he's probably, for me, I'm going to put a little bit on him outright. I think 28-1 is a great shot for 30 guys. Yeah, he's 4 shots back, but all it takes is one bad round by those guys on top, and he's right in it.
Yeah. Alex is bringing up horses for courses, talking about Xander Schauffele, 1st, 7th, and 2nd. Based on where he's at, Schauffele is back at -3. Nick, is there any value in betting him on outright or in head-to-head matchups this week?
Head-to-head matchups, I would say you can always find a reason to bet somebody on head-to-head. I don't know who he's paired with yet. The outright, I think he's a little too far back. If you're going to look, maybe there's a top 5 plays at plus 250, I think, for him. So even that's not the best. On a leaderboard bet, I'm not going to be playing Schauffele this week. Yes, he's been good here, and he's been steady throughout the whole restart. But really, how many times has he really been there contending in one of the top 3 or 4 or 5 guys? He really hasn't. He's been a top 20 guy, but he hasn't quite been all the way up there. So I'm not going to be playing him this week in a leaderboard bet. I may look at him at a head-to-head once I see those matchups, which I know they're out. I just haven't had a chance to look at them yet.
Yeah. Dave, Justin Thomas, just sitting there, nobody's talking about him. He's -7. He's only 1 shot behind Rahm, 3 behind DJ. He really likes this course. Just feels like he hasn't really had it the last few weeks.
He hasn't been real sharp.
Yeah. What are you seeing out of his game? Anything in particular?
He's not who I'd go with right now. Look, the one tough part about golf is the toughest thing is that guys can find their form all of a sudden, boom, just like that. Yeah. But I'm generally against guys who are not in their best form. If they get hot all of a sudden, well, that's the way it goes. But I don't see Thomas as. I mean, he'll be in the mix. I'm not expecting him to finish 25th out of 30. Mm-hmm. But I don't like his chances to win the 72.
Yeah. Just a quick little
lead last year and didn't do anything. Sorry. I was just saying he started the lead last year, right? And finished tied for 3rd. I think he was I want to say he was 3 under for the full 72 holes after starting at -10. So he finished at 13 under total.
Kind of crazy. If a few years ago that they would have told you, Nick, that there would be a tour championship with no Jordan Spieth and no Jason Day and no Adam Scott, I think that we would have been like, wow, what are the odds on that one? And instead we are treated with the likes of Sebastian Munoz and Lanto Griffin. Nothing against these guys. They're not big names. Maybe they can be, but I think there's one of the bigger stories is some of the big name omissions from this year. So
no doubt about it. I mean, a lot of those good I mean, congratulations to all the younger guys that have got it. They earned it because they play a lot, They know that in order to get in this type of an event, they're going to have to play 75% of the events over the year. So good for them. Happy that they got it in. Did you see who was it that made the putt?
Mackenzie Hughes.
On the 72nd hole, he had a 5-footer to get in, and he knew it. I forget who that was.
Mackenzie Hughes.
Yeah, Mackenzie Hughes. That's right. That was such a cool reaction to watch him. Yeah, it was such a cool reaction to see him and what that's going to do for his life, because now he's in all the majors. He's on the tour now for a couple of years. I mean, what a thing to watch. And it was so cool that he knew right then and there he had to make that putt. And he knocked it in. So I'm glad to see a lot of these young guys in there, these names that they'll be around for a while. And, we've talked about a lot of the rookies all year. So they're guys we'll be excited about for years to come.
He has never spent that much time lining up a 5-foot putt in his life. It was every angle. He looked like Bryson out there with a protractor and a sundial and trying to get everything in. So I honestly don't know this, and this just kind of occurred to me. So we get done with the Tour Championship, and then we move into the weirdo part of the year. So we have the Masters, the U.S. Open. There's a WGC. There's a Houston Open. There's a Zozo Championship. Nick, do you know if this is included in points to the next year? I don't even know.
No, this is the first week.
Yep, it'll be next year's points. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So starting next week.
It started this time after the Tour Championship. Always starts the next year. It's just a completely messed up order of tournaments compared to years past. But yep, it's going to immediately start the new FedEx Cup standings.
So are we going to have 2 U.S. Opens and 2 Masters?
I guess so.
I think so.
Yeah, I guess
What
so.
a great golf year. Could we have the first ever 5 major winner in one year? Wouldn't that be amazing?
True.
Talk about a record that'll never be broken.
Very true. Listen, Tiger's loving it because he's an 18-month Masters champion right now. He's loving it.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, a lot of love for Xander in the chat room. Richard says Max bet on the Masters. A lot of love for Schauffele. I don't know. I don't see it. All right, Dave. We have a question about who will go to the Super Bowl this year. Normally it's a golf show, but
somebody's doing that just to bust my balls because they know that I never. My answer to that is I'll let you know once the 2 teams are in the Super Bowl. I couldn't care less.
That's funny.
My only concern is week 1.
Oh, that's great.
By the way, I have a college football play up.
Of course.
All right, I'll plug it because I'm number 1 at Wager Talk for the last 3 years in college football.
Really?
Yeah, better than 60% altogether, and it's been right about 60% each year. I'm pretty consistent, and I did play 1 game this week. So
that's awesome.
That's big.
Do you think the Austin P Central Arkansas set records for an Austin P Central Arkansas handle the other night? Do you think that was the most money that's ever been bet on an Austin P game?
I would assume so. It really didn't do that much volume.
Really?
No.
Oh man, I had people that I know that never bet on college football. I was like, I really like Central Arkansas.
It was small bets. There might have been a lot of tickets, but the dollars were not that big.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to golf. I don't know. There's only 30 guys in the field. There's only so many guys that we can talk to. Nick, is there anybody that you are keeping your eye on that might lead us to maybe bet on or support moving forward based on how they've performed the last few weeks into the Tour Championship? We're going right into majors, which is weird. Some guys that can perform on the big stage, maybe not guys that you're going to bet on this week, but maybe some guys to keep an eye on as some bets moving forward. Nope, looks like Nick froze.
I mean,
there you go.
The guy that am I back?
Sort of.
Sorry, choppy internet.
You're good. You're good, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So the guy I liked last week, my extra juicy pick, I called him, was Neiman, who almost won the damn thing.
Yeah.
I know Dave didn't like it, but that's okay. That's why we have difference of opinions on there. He almost came through, but I actually
that's
like
a good example of a guy who was in lousy form and all of a sudden put it all together.
All of a sudden, yep. And honestly, the reason I liked him last week was because his year-to-date numbers were too good to be in the funk as long as he was. So I thought, at some point he's going to come out, and this price is just too good. I didn't take him outright, but I did take him for a top 20 at plus 350. This week he's plus 300 for a top 10. I think he might be a guy that, I know you asked more about the future, but I just wanted to plug him in as a guy that could come into a top 10 this week, starting, way back. I think he can make a little run. He was number 1 in greens and regulation and shots gained tee to green last week. And he's been in the top 20 in a lot of those major stats all year long and just doesn't get a lot of respect. So he's a guy that I'll be watching, depending on his price, as we go into these future majors and tournaments, because he's going to be in all of them. As a big-time underdog, big-time sleeper, big-time leaderboard bet to keep your eye on. So he's the one guy I really like that you probably won't hear much about.
Dave, any guys you're going to be looking at, see if they show you a little something this week?
Well, I'd like to see Morikawa get 4 good rounds in. He played well on the weekend after a disastrous Thursday and Friday. And and this, some other guys, I just don't. The toughest thing about this tournament is the guys who are going to try and win the 72-hole event or guys who might look at it as, well, I can't win the cup, so I'm just going to use this as kind of to tinker with some things. And it's really tough to tell that going in.
Yeah. The guy I'm keeping my eye on that I like, he's been up and down. He was really down for a while after the restart, but he's really come on strong, is Scotty Scheffler. I really hope to see this guy be consistent. I love his game. 22nd, 15th, 4th, and 20th the last 3 weeks. But before that, 3 missed cuts and 55th. He doesn't get a lot of airtime on TV, so you may not recognize him. So I'm looking at Scotty Scheffler. I'd like to see him have a pretty good performance. Dave, are there any guys that you're just running forever from? Like, are there guys that you're just you don't want any part of this week?
Well, thank goodness Jason Day's not playing.
He got me. The week. Yeah, he was playing great, and then he was awful, and he got me on a bet. So I don't know. I think Sung J.M. falls into that category for me. He's just been a train wreck for a while. Has won top 10 in his last, I don't know, like 8 or 9 tournaments. So I'll be staying away from him. So, Dave, talk a little bit about what you got going on. Baseball, I know you're busy with that, and you got college football coming up. So, what can all of us Dave Cokin fans, us Cokinholics, look forward to coming up?
Well, 4-0 the last 2 days is nice. July and August were really good. So hopefully can get that rolling into September. Right now I have a free play up on, if you go to my Wager Talk page or just follow me on Twitter at Dave Cokin, there's a free play on one of tonight's baseball games. There's a best bet in hockey. There's a smaller play. Well, it's not really a smaller play, but it's set up as a -1. That's only for all access guys in baseball. Did I say NHL? I've got an NHL best bet. And I have my first college football play up for the brand new season. It might be the only game I play this week because I don't generally go in heavy in week 1. And I think I already bragged about the college football, so I'm not going to say that again.
I'll say it again. Dave's one of the best at college football. Like, you have to be humble about that.
No, it's always been my best ROI sport.
That's awesome.
Always.
Really? I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, I've made more money in other sports. That's because I have a higher volume in other sports.
Right.
But college football is, I haven't had too many bad seasons.
Yeah. Nick, what are you working on these days? Obviously, besides golf.
Well, we got the other country club sport going on right now. We got the
tennis,
U.S. Open tennis going right now.
There we go.
Tennis, U.S. Yep, and then we have, of course, as you mentioned, soccer starts back up next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend the Premier League's back, so that'll be a lot of fun. But Major League Soccer's actually been doing very well, which is the AA minor leagues compared to any of those big leagues. But been on a nice MLS run right now too, and I got to play up for tonight's game against it's Toronto and Montreal. So check that out on my Wager Talk page.
Cool. We're hitting NASCAR playoffs. The field has been narrowed down to 16, so we got 10 great weeks of NASCAR betting. All tracks that I love, except for the one restrictor plate. So we've been killing it on our NASCAR show. We did amazing on our UFC live show. We won a bet based on a guy's haircut on Saturday. What? That actually happened. That actually happened.
I got to hear this.
Okay, so there was a guy who's really immature, and he dances around the ring, and he dances before, and he screws around in the ring, and he always has this big, doofy-looking haircut, and he almost lost his last fight to a guy he shouldn't have lost to, and we all said we're never going to bet against him, and he showed up with a slick haircut, and he looked professional, and he looked different, and on the show we were like, wait a minute, this guy is showing up looking like a pro? This is new. And I was like, we got to bet him. He's changed his mindset. And he knocked the guy out. That's professional handicapping for you.
Anyway, you got to win, man.
That's right.
Right. So yeah, I'll have my UFC. We'll have our NASCAR, and like I said, I have one golf pick up there now. So yeah, I think we've gone through just about everything we can with these guys. Nick, is there anything else you want to bring up with these 30 guys?
Not really. I mean, my long shot outright is Berger. You already hit him 28-1. I think he's the only guy that might be able to pull up the leaderboard this week. And then the only other way to really play this one besides head to heads is, maybe a top 10 on guys that are at that -1, -2 number. And I hit on one at Neiman, and you hit on the other, I think, at Scheffler. He's only 2-1, but maybe it's worth a few bucks. Otherwise, unfortunately, 30 guys, the prices aren't going to be very good on a lot of them because it just can't be. So head-to-heads will probably be the best way to play this week, or just wait until we get to the bigger tournaments coming in a few weeks again.
Yeah,
and I'm not betting to win the Cup. My outrights are just to win the 72 holes.
Okay.
I'll be glad when this format is. I can't stand it.
Let's see. And Michael's ask on YouTube, Webb has the same odds to win in both stroke play and FedEx title. Which is the better bet? Well, obviously it's the stroke play. You're getting 3 shots value on that one. And Blaze, going to ask, who would you guys pick, Todd or English? I like the upside of Todd myself. I think English is pretty steady. Todd, to me, has shown a little bit more ability to win or go a lot lower than English has. That's my opinion. I don't know, Nick, if you agree with that or not.
That sounds good. I like
that. Todd is a damn good putter. And then honestly, even if he's not hitting the ball well, his shot gain numbers and his putting can save him when he's not hitting it very, very well. So he's a guy that always kind of thinks there if he's just not making putts, he's not going to be there. But there's nothing wrong with taking a guy that can make a putt and know when an off day is there, he'll still be okay and not really get blown up. So that means he's going to be around, all 4 rounds. So he's a good guy to bet. I like him.
Okay. James wants to know, Nick, you got any U.S. Open picks for tomorrow? It's a golf show, guys. Yes, Nick does. Nick does.
He's got plays. Go get him.
No, but I promise I'll pull one up. I have just the plays for today going. I'll work on tomorrow's later tonight, but I'll put up a free one for you. I'll promise you that.
There you go.
There you go. Awesome.
And then the guys who's asking, James, did you give up my free play yet? Yes, it's on my homepage, or follow me on Twitter. It's you can see it either way.
And breaking news for me, I am going to attempt to do the first ever Formula One free play tomorrow. Yes. There are tens of people waiting for that, I'm sure. So, James wants to know, Kisner or Munoz? I for whatever, Kisner always gets me. Whenever I'm against Kisner, he has the tournament of his life. Whenever I'm on him, he's at home on Saturday. So Munoz is at -3, Kisner's at -1. Are there any Kevin Kisner fans on this panel? Dave, Nick?
No, I mean, I'm nowhere on that. Again, I just want to point out, I mean, I haven't contributed a whole lot today. Probably because I don't like this format at all, because I don't know who's playing for what.
That's understandable.
And I confused the crap out of myself because I thought I bet on someone at 250-1, and I'm actually only getting 100-1 because he's 250 to win the Cup.
Oh, okay.
So I'll take the 100-1, but it's like I can't wait for this to be over. It's you know what it's like. It's like having an NFL playoff schedule and then having the other teams play on the same day who aren't in it. It doesn't make any sense. Either just, it's so contrived. It is just, this, and then nobody gives a shit about it anyway. Really. No, I mean, have you ever seen anything get less hype than, who's going to win the FedEx Cup? What golf fans like is we want to see 72 holes, and we want to see some excitement on Sunday like we just had, which was phenomenal. It was incredible. I wasn't involved. I mean, I had no chance to cash anything, but man, that was great.
It was awesome.
You're fine the way you are. If don't try to fix something that's not broken. I don't care who wins the FedEx Cup.
Oh man.
Yeah, the players care for their $10 million, but
they care. That's fine. But you ask any fan, and it's like, are you geared up to watch and see who wins the FedEx Cup this weekend?
No,
and they'll stare at you like you got some kind of communicable disease.
What's the FedEx Cup?
Yeah, really.
Oh man. I need to put a graphic in here. Cokin rant in 3, 2, 1.
If you want to just have a FedEx Cup, then take the top 4 guys and just put them in. Boom, there you go.
Skins game.
like the old was it the old Tournament of Champions? They had a tournament years ago where it was just the 4 major guys. And they played for some kind of championship.
Shell's Wonderful World of Golf or something.
I don't know what it was, but there was just the 4 major winners.
Yep.
And that's all it was. That was pretty.
Tiger versus himself.
Well, I think I don't even know how they would have done it. By that time, they got rid of it.
They did still have 4 people. I forget how they did.
But it was a blast. Okay, good. We got the 4 major guys. Let's see who wins. Simple. Yep. Okay, and everybody watched because Nicholas was usually in there. And go back to Arnie was in there. It was awesome. There's a 4-man. Do that with this because you're going to have the 4 best players in the world, and who cares about the rest of the field anyway? Well, really, I mean, so good. I mean, Hideki Matsuyama. Okay, fine. He's got no shot to win the Cup, right?
Correct. I agree with that.
So what? I don't know. I can't. I don't know. It's.
Well, the good news is
something Rob Manfred would come up with.
The good news is normally when we get done with the Tour Championship, it really gets bad because we go play on the other side of the country, or I'm sorry, on the other side of the world. But now we have real tournaments to get ready for. It's almost like there's not too much of an off season. We have tournaments that matter, and I think the dynamic of playing some of these in the fall. By the way, I was having a conversation with my buddy who's Nick. Have you been to Augusta? Have you been to the Masters?
I have, yes. It was a dozen years ago or so, and I can go. I'm the guy that can go every year. I can go any year I want because I have my PGA card, so I can go. I can't bring a guest, but I can go any year I want, and I just never go.
I've never been to Augusta, but I have. I did see a minor league baseball game about 35 years ago, maybe 40 years ago. No, it's longer than that, actually. It was a friend of mine who was in Class A. So I saw a minor league baseball game in Waycross, Georgia. And I'm going to tell you something. You want to see some big-ass mosquitoes. They got them in Waycross, Georgia. Jesus. Holy shit.
So here is the point of this. So my buddy who's been to Augusta many times, he says that he thinks it's the biggest course mismatch for Bryson without fans because of if Bryson is trying to swing for the fences, just how quick that ball can roll off the greens and off the fairways. And if there's no fans there to block it, that Augusta could be an absolute nightmare if Bryson doesn't reel it in a bit and is trying to overpower the course. He's like, there are some holes where if there's no fans, Bryson can blow it through the fairway, down a hill into another fairway that's nowhere even near where he wants to aim. I have never been there, but he says if you want an ultimate fade, it's DeChambeau at Augusta with no fans if he's swinging as hard as he is. It was an interesting discussion. Nick, I don't know what you think about that.
I don't think he's wrong there. I mean, Augusta's, all the holes are tree lined. So, you miss on the other side of that tree line, you're screwed. And if he doesn't have fans to keep it in your own side of it, I could see it. The place is fast. I mean, that's the one thing you don't realize on TV if you've never been there. When you go there, if you're there for a day, you are tired when you leave that place, man. There is a lot of up and down. Amen corner is just straight up a hill. I mean, it's steep. So yeah, you could spray it over that hill and back down the other side, and you could be in a weird spot. So that course is set up for guys that hit the ball left to right, whether you're right to left, whether you're you got to be a guy that knows a lefty that knows how to cut it. If you look back at the history of that tournament, Mike Weir, Bubba Watson, Phil Mickelson, they're the ones that play well there. It's meant for balls that go right to left. There's a ton of holes that set up for that type of a shot. So whether that is true every single year, I'll tell you, it's something to look for as you go in because it's the guys that can play around those corners that do really, really well there.
Was it Lee Trevino that wouldn't play there? Because his ball flight went left to right, and he said, "Why would I play there? I don't have a chance."
So.
I think it was
the
him.
wrong way.
So, all right, we're up against the clock. Hey, everyone that's still in the room, please give us a like. We only got 3 likes right now. If you're following us on YouTube, smash the like button for us. Give us a comment. All of our plays can be up on Wager Talk. Dave is awesome at college football. Nick's been killing it at soccer. I've got UFC and NASCAR up. We got the Tour Championship, and then honestly, we're coming right back with some more golf tournaments. So I don't see Tee Time going anywhere anytime soon. Should be fun. I can't wait to handicap the Masters in November. Unbelievable. What a time to be a golf fan. So
knows.
all right. Thanks to Dave. Thanks to Dave Cokin. Thanks to Nick Borrman. Thanks to everyone that's been following us all season. It's been fun, and we hope everyone makes a lot of money this week. So good luck. Thanks for joining us on Tee Time, and we will see you next golf tournament. Good luck.